All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a mystery that happens right under your nose, probably in your own kitchen cabinet or on your desk. Ever notice how a product you absolutely love, maybe it's a snack, a gadget, whatever, just vanishes?
So, what happened? Was it some corporate conspiracy? A secret recipe that got lost? Well, the truth is actually way more interesting. It's not an accident at all. It's a deliberate, planned journey. A life story, really, that almost every single product you buy is designed to follow.
And this quote right here, it nails it. Most products have a limited profitable life. See, in the world of business, things just aren't meant to last forever. So when that favorite soda of yours disappeared, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't even necessarily a failure. It was all part of a cycle, a strategy that companies use to stay in business.
Okay, so let's break this down. We're talking about the 4 stages of life, from birth to old age. And to really get it, you have to think like a marketer. They look at a product almost like it's a person. It's born, it grows up, it hits its prime, and then, well, it gets old. Let's walk through that life story.
This is the official framework for it, the product life cycle. You'll hear people call it the PLC. Think of it as a roadmap. But it's not just about tracking how many units are sold. No. It's about tracking the profits at every single stage of that product's life. It's all about the money.
So, stage 1, the introduction. This is the product's birth. It's like throwing a huge, super expensive launch party. You're spending a ton of cash on marketing and promotion, but sales are pretty slow to start because, well, nobody knows who you are yet. So at this point, the company is almost definitely losing money.
But if that party is a hit, you move into stage 2, growth. This is where things get exciting. Word starts to spread, sales start climbing, and they climb fast. You could call these the teenage years of the product. And this is when the profits finally start to pour in, because you're selling way more and those big upfront costs start to even out.
Okay, so after that rapid climb, we get stage 3, maturity. The product is a household name now, an established player. It's really at the peak of its powers. But here's the twist. That crazy growth, it's over. Sales start to flatten out, they hit a plateau. Why? Because every single one of your competitors has seen your success, and now they're flooding the market with their own versions, trying to grab a slice of your pie.
And that, of course, inevitably leads to stage 4, the decline. These are the twilight years. Sales and profits both start to fall off a cliff. Maybe it's because a new technology came along and made your product obsolete. Think about what streaming did to DVDs. Or maybe people's tastes just changed. For almost every product, this final stage is pretty much unavoidable.
Now this table really lays it all out visually. It's that classic S-curve. Just follow the profit level column. You start in the negative, losing money, then in growth, profits shoot up. But, and this is the key insight, look at the maturity stage. Even when your sales are at their absolute peak, your profits have already leveled off or are even starting to drop. That's because of all that competition. It's the first real warning sign that the end might be closer than you think.
All right, so if companies know this decline is coming, what do they do about it? They don't just sit there and watch their cash cow dry up, right? Of course not. They have a very specific playbook, a set of strategies they roll out for each and every one of these stages.
And this is that playbook. It revolves around the classic 4 Ps of marketing: product, promotion, price, and place. And you can see the logic change as you go. At the start, in introduction, it's all about heavy promotion, just trying to get your name out there. But by the time you hit maturity, the game has completely changed. You're not just trying to get attention anymore. Now you're defending your turf, maybe tweaking the product, and you're forced to match or beat your competitors' prices. It's a total shift from offense to defense.
So what about that final dreaded stage, the decline? Is the product just doomed? Well, not always. Companies have a few tricks up their sleeve to try and postpone the inevitable, to squeeze out just a little more profitable life.
Here are the usual moves. You can try to improve the quality, maybe add some new features. You can try to find totally new markets for it or expand where it's sold. Or, you can just throw a bunch more advertising money at it. And yeah, those things can buy you some time. But the only thing on this list that can truly turn the ship around, the only thing that can really restart the whole cycle, is that last one: innovate.
And that brings us perfectly full circle. Because the death of one product is the very thing that forces a company to create the next big thing.
This is how we move from the product lifecycle to the other side of the coin, the new product development process.
Now, launching a successful new product isn't some random bolt of lightning. It's a very structured, disciplined, six-step journey. It takes you all the way from a fleeting idea to an actual product sitting on a shelf. It all starts with generating a bunch of ideas and then, pretty ruthlessly, filtering them down.
So where do these brilliant ideas even come from? Well, they come from everywhere. Sometimes you find them by looking outside the company, by watching your competitors like a hawk, or even better, by listening to customers for the needs they can't even articulate yet. Other times, the best ideas are found inside, by talking to the salespeople who are on the front lines every day, or just by getting smart people in a room to brainstorm.
But once you have that big pile of ideas, you have to get real. This is the screening phase. It's the reality check. You start asking the hard questions, is this actually going to be profitable? Is the market even big enough to bother? Do we have the factories to build this thing? Can we afford it? Only the absolute strongest ideas make it past this point.
And this story is the perfect example of why Step 3, concept testing, is so important. Back in the 1960s, Hindustan Lever launched these packaged peas called Hema. Now, the product itself, the peas, they were fine, but the product was a total flop. Why? Because the concept of convenience food was completely foreign to the Indian market at that time. They had a great product, but the concept itself failed. They were just way too early for their time.
And this is where you see it all click together, right? The two cycles, PLC and NPD, they're locked in this perfect, continuous dance. The decline of one product isn't a tragedy. It's the spark for the next innovation. The profits you make from a product in its maturity stage, that's the money that funds the hunt for its replacement. For any company that wants to stick around, they have to become masters of this endless circle of life.
So that leaves us with one final thought. Now that you have this framework in your head, I want you to start looking at the world a little differently. Look around you. What product out there is brand new, just starting its life? And what beloved product, maybe one you grew up with, is slowly, quietly entering its final decline? Once you know what to look for, you'll see the answers everywhere.